What up, guys? It's Steven from Cymatics, and welcome to episode 12 of the Ask Cymatics Show. I just want to go ahead and take a second to say everybody who's been supporting the show up to this point, I spent a lot of time reading the comments this weekend. A lot of people are saying that this is one of the most, the best podcasts ever for music producers, saying all this great stuff, saying they're learning more in this podcast series than they are even in their classes and stuff, which is honestly music to my ears and really makes me happy to hear that. Also wanted to say that we had a little hiccup. We had episode 11 and we've had like 3 days in between episode 12. The reason being is actually the thing that happened was that me and Drew started working on an album that we're going to be dropping on Friday. Me and him had just been putting together some lo-fi tracks, especially with the whole lo-fi week. But we've been working on, essentially a bunch of lo-fi tracks, honestly, starting off for fun, playing around with some of the stuff that Andre and the entire production team had been working on. And then what we wanted to do was we're like, hey, we're pretty good at the genre. We like to make this style of music. Let's put out a whole album. Screw it. And we hadn't done anything even like this in the past 5 years. We haven't released music together. So pretty exciting experience to do that. One of my goals is actually to drop the album, do a little bit of hustle on getting plays on it, stuff like that, but also just document some cool shit that we're learning, right? So we're already building some funnel pages that we think would be really cool for artists to use, and we're coming up with this free web tool so you can get more exposure on your songs. But essentially all the strategies that we use, we're going to bring to you guys and show you guys how to do for free, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm trying to think, anything else crazy going on? Oh, tomorrow. So by the time you're watching this, I'm not sure if we'll get it uploaded today or tomorrow, but the first Cymatics event is going down. We've sold 125 tickets. We would have sold more, but Jordan had the sales page expire at midnight, so we had about 6 hours where people were probably trying to buy. Probably felt missed out. They might go back to it today and buy instantly because they're like, it's back up. But our first ever live event, so I'm excited. So essentially about 4 months ago, when we had met up with Gary Vee, they had stressed the importance of branding and how branding really should be your North Star. And so for us, me and Drew have been making a lot of different decisions as a company. Like for us, it doesn't make sense to go hang out in a room of 100 people per se, because we can just go online, post a video and get thousands of views and thousands of impressions. But doing stuff like that live event where you get to shake hands with people and network with different people in the industry, I think there's a lot of value there, because those people kind of become diehard fans. You network with people, you meet interesting people. We're going to invite some influencers out, so I'm pumped about that. Same thing even goes for like how we've been operating lately. Like this show, this show is not necessarily like a scalable thing that's going to make us millions of dollars per se, but I think that the people it does help, it's actually going to be really awesome. Stuff like that. Also, thing is, Drew is going to be starting to come on the show. I've promised that now for 10 episodes, and I might just start do hashtag get Drew on the show or something. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that's a great one. If you want Drew on the show, please post on your story, your Instagram story, and say, Drew, we need you on the Ask Cymatics Show. I'll shout out everybody on my Instagram. Just tag us both. Say, Drew, we need you on the Cymatics Show. He provides a lot of production insight. He's the other half of Cymatics, and we just got to get him up early to get over here. But anyways, other than that, let's get right into it.
Blitz Productions asks, what's the best place to sell sample, preset, or MIDI packs without your own homepage?
All right, Blitz Production. The best place to sell it is your own website, and I can kind of feel you already leaning against that. You want to use one of these templated out sites, but let me tell you, setting up a Shopify account, it's really, really easy. My girlfriend set it up literally within a day. I've had friends, family members setting up websites. Do not be afraid to tackle that, because what's gonna happen is if you take that little bit of time to learn how to build the website and stuff, you're gonna have unlimited freedom in the future when it comes to how you want to do things, how you want to sell stuff, what you want to build on your website. And it's definitely a skill that I think every music producer should do. And let's say that music production is a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 on technicality level. Building a website on Shopify is literally a 1 out of 10. Okay, so for music producers, it's very, very easy to do. That's the thing I'm going to suggest for selling beats, and it's the thing I'm going to suggest for selling sample packs, MIDI packs, merchandise, because you just get to keep all the leverage. So back in the day, there was a bunch of for example, eBay entrepreneurs who were selling stuff on eBay, and they were making hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden people stopped using eBay and they became a victim of the platform kind of dying off a little bit. And one thing that I'm really a big fan of is just kind of controlling keeping all the leverage. So for us, Cymatics, it's not like an Amazon business or something where if Amazon changes the algorithm for search and all of a sudden your reviews don't mean as much anymore, they've, we're not going to die because of that. If Facebook like takes fan page reach, all of a sudden like we still have our website and our other assets. So like, you know what I'm saying? So the thing that I think is important is that do not lean away from that. I would highly suggest that you learn how to do the basics on the Shopify. There are some other options like Splice out there, but like I said, that 3 day, like 2-3 days it takes you to build a basic website. Don't think you need like 100 pages. I'm talking you need like 2 to 3 pages to get something going. So like don't, only because there's friction there does not mean you should lean away from it. I would lean into it. It's coming from a guy who sold a lot of sample packs, a lot of MIDI packs, a lot of preset packs. We probably have, honestly, in the past 3 years, I don't know if there's another company who's distributed more, sample packs and preset packs and MIDI packs than us, if I'm being honest with you.
Oscar Rodriguez asks, do you think I need a good camera to upload content on Instagram?
No. Mr. Beast got to 200,000 followers off his iPhone 5C. Half the people out there who talk about needing great visuals and stuff are usually the people that don't get that great engagement. And this is what I've seen. I've seen this on higher level artists, and I've seen this on no artists who are getting like no engagement. But what's happened is that Instagram is like this new game. And a lot of older players, even people who are like got big in 2012, all of a sudden are playing in a 2019 Instagram environment. And they think they need this cool looking visual component to their brand. They think they need some visualizer that reacts with their music that looks aesthetically pleasing. No one gives a shit about aesthetically pleasing on Instagram. No one gives a shit about your Instagram layout or any of that stuff. The lower quality stuff is winning. And even this morning, me and Jordan, we were talking about Facebook ads and stuff, and then I was looking at a bunch of stuff that are, that was put together by a graphic designer, and I was like, fuck this. So I literally took out my phone and I took a picture of my laptop and I was like, let's run this as an ad. And, for us, me and Drew are choosing to use our iPhones to upload Instagram content over using our cameras. Like this show is shot on a Canon D5 Mark IV, and we have like $20,000-$30,000 worth of video equipment, and we're still choosing to use our phones because people are just responding that much better to the more amateur feel. And the main reason is because everything that looks super professional in Instagram or even any sort of platform is usually an ad or by some company, and people don't give a shit about ads and companies. People give shit about their friends, and the type of content their friends post is usually just iPhone stuff. So you gotta think of like, what's the context of the platform? That's why that kind of stuff works on Instagram, and that is the hardest pill for artists to swallow, is the fact that lower quality stuff is actually gonna work better. It's like the biggest mind fuck, right? But honestly, it's just what's working right now.
Yomono wants to know, what's the whole relationship between Drew and Steven?
I would say, one of the reasons that Cymatics works is that me and Drew feel like we're hanging out. Like, if you really take a look at our day and you were to see what we're doing, we're not necessarily on a whiteboard doing all this crazy stuff. We're literally sometimes just like, shooting the shit literally every morning for about 30 minutes, we're just shooting the shit on the phone about different ideas, different funny memes, like different things that are happening in pop culture. Like, oh, did you see that Old Country Road song blow up? Oh, did you see what happened to this person? Or like, oh, this person, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of our conversation just has to do with pop culture, and we're just kind of hanging out. I mean, even when I go over there, like a lot of our ideas sprout from just chilling. And I would say that's a pretty important approach because, for me and Drew, the reason we're able to work so much, and we've had this with different people on our team as well, but like the reason we're able to put so much output because it doesn't feel like work. I don't feel like I'm necessarily going in and starting to, work like I did a 9 to 5. I was a busboy, I was a sign holder, I was a pool boy, Drew cleaned bathrooms. Like we've had a bunch of shit jobs, but with Cymatics, the reason it's so awesome is because we feel like we're just chilling, like some friends meeting up, working on a cool project together. And when you get that kind of synergy, like, you just feel like you're hanging out with your friends and you guys are also just, working on a project together. I mean, the cool part about it is that it doesn't really feel like work. So like, I think that Cymatics has blossomed because of the more friendship type feel with, I guess, between me and Drew and even some of the employees and stuff.
Highmont Productions asks, should I give up being an artist if I don't want to tour or do gigs at all? Or should I focus on collabs and helping other artists?
I am a strong believer that I think touring and playing shows is a completely different occupation than being a producer. Okay, so think about this. Being a music producer, you're sitting in your room, you're working on a program, right? You're essentially, you're kind of like a technical engineer if you really think about it. You're sitting in a room, you're working on a program, and then what happens is that person they want to go play shows. And the weird part is playing shows and touring has to do with, long car rides, travel nonstop, tiny amounts of sleep, hanging out in clubs all the time, like a lot of stuff that has nothing to fucking do with production. I mean, dude, you're not even producing on there. You're just playing your music out, right? And a lot of times now you're just DJing whatever music fits the vibe of the place. And if you just think about that disconnect, those are two completely different occupations. You're going from guy who likes to sit in his bedroom, maybe have a routine, likes to sit down in front of his computer, work a little bit, go hang out, maybe in his living room, play video games, go back to work in a little bit, go to a coffee shop, whatever it may be, to a guy who is screaming on a microphone, getting the crowd hyped, like has to be social nonstop. It's a really weird paradox, and I've heard a lot of artists talk about this actually. And I don't think you need to quit being a music producer to be that type of person. So me and Drew, for example, I mean, we've taken a completely left field approach that I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of in 2019 and 2020. And it's the idea is that you don't have to go be a touring artist to be successful in the music industry. Because if you know how to do things like build a brand, if you know how to build social media accounts, build an email list, do a little bit of marketing, and you're really good at production, the cool part is that there's so many different outlets that aren't being utilized fully. Like everybody's like rushing into being the touring artist because everybody's like staring up at their favorite artist, right? They think they need to do that. They're going in this front gate when they don't realize is that there's so many streams of revenue across the board where you don't have to do that. Like there's guys who are, just putting music, like my friend Ryan, he's putting music out on Spotify and he's making bank. His SoundCloud is tiny, but like he has that great Odessa style of music that is absolutely crushing it on the playlist, and people love his music. And the dude has a pretty chill life. I mean, he travels all the time. He just got signed to a big label, but I'm not saying he doesn't want to tour per se, but he's kind of somebody I've seen who's set it up pretty good as a producer. I have another friend who does like licensing on like commercials and movies, and he'll get like his songs, like a lot of placements on that kind of stuff. The dude bought his own house and rented out his house so he could live for free. His roommates paid rent, so he pretty much got a free house. Didn't have to worry about many bills, and he had an awesome situational revenue coming in. He's not sitting there touring his face off. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely think that in the future, even look at us at Cymatics, me and Drew, we've done a lot of stuff with production, and just now we're like, okay, let's drop an album. We used to release music back in the day, but just now we're like, okay, maybe this album thing's a good idea because we built so much framework to allow us to release music for fun, gain a following, get a lot of plays on our songs, and then without having to become slave to that touring, I want to go play shows to make money, or I got to sell merch, right? We have so much freedom now. We can do whatever the fuck we want. Me and Drew are going to drop a book. We're going to drop an album. We're going to drop more music. We're going to do remix contests. We're going to do software. We're going to do web tools. I'm going to do a podcast. Live events. I'm doing a live event right now, and we're going to scale that across the world, right? In my opinion, you build a brand as a music producer, you start networking, you learn a little bit of marketing, you have the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want because it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're producing, it doesn't matter if you're trying to go tour, play shows. Everything kind of gets old and you constantly have to reinvent what you do. But if you learn those fundamental skills, you can do whatever you want, and it's actually really awesome. All right, guys, we really like that last answer. I think a lot of people get value from it, honestly. I think a lot more people need to take that approach. It's going to help you kill it in 2019, 2020, and especially like help you differentiate yourself. Like sometimes the differentiation isn't in music, it's in the entire approach itself at what you're doing with the project, Just want to end it on that note. Couple last things I wanted to say. One, if you're watching the show and you enjoy the show and you like when these episodes come out, I highly suggest popping the notification bell. That way you get notified when a new episode comes out. As I've realized, there's a little bit of shakiness, but we're going to get back on our, we had 11 days straight. So we got to restart the streak. Today's day one of the streak. We have to go. We're going to try to hit more than 11 days. I want to get 50 or 100, but it's going to be a little chaotic with our event going down. But I promise I will try my hardest to get more of these episodes out. And yeah, guys, don't forget, go to fucking Instagram, go to your story and say, we want Drew. And I want you to tag me and Drew in it because I'm going to be sharing all those, and it's just going to be a funny way to mess with Drew a little bit. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have a question, ask below. If you want to give some feedback on the show, I'd love that as well. If you just want to give some love, just leave it in the comments. I go through every single one, and I'm going to do a better job at responding to everybody. I've realized between Instagram and YouTube it's kind of tough, but I'm going to do my best. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace.